You know, when most of us think of a first-class flight, we picture luxury, comfort, maybe a glass of champagne. But what if you stopped thinking about it as an experience and started treating it like a high-stakes financial investment? Well, today we're breaking down one person's attempt to do exactly that, to turn a $4,600 plane ticket into actual profit. So that's the big question, right? Is it actually possible to consume more value in champagne, caviar, and amenities than the cost of the ticket itself? We're going to treat this whole thing less like a travel vlog and more like a Wall Street case study. And here's the buy-in: $4,600 for a one-way ticket from New York to Milan. So right off the bat, this isn't a casual bet. This is a serious capital investment, and the only way to get a return is through pure, relentless consumption.
Okay, so here's our flight plan for this analysis. First, we'll look at the investment thesis itself. Then we'll evaluate the assets. What's actually up for grabs? We'll dig into the, let's call it extreme consumption strategy, look at the hidden human liabilities, and then of course deliver the final verdict.
The goal here was brutally simple. It wasn't about enjoying the luxury. It was about consuming goods and services with a retail value that was higher than the ticket price. The idea was to liquidate the flight's value, turning what is normally a massive expense into a net profit.
Now, any good investor needs a target. So to figure that out, he did something pretty smart. He said, look, I had to fly to Milan anyway. So he subtracted the cost of a basic economy ticket, about $671. That left him with a real hard profit target of $3,329 that he had to claw back one glass of champagne at a time.
Okay, so to hit that target, what assets were even on the table? We need to do a full inventory of everything included in that ticket price, because this is way more than just a seat. It's an entire portfolio of consumable goods and high-end services. And the asset list is pretty incredible. You've got the exclusive lounge beforehand, the private suite with a bed, and of course, what they claim is unlimited gourmet food and drinks. But you also get access to that famous onboard shower and, critically, those designer amenity kits, all things with a real, quantifiable dollar value.
Let's just drill down on that amenity kit for a second. This isn't just some cheap eye mask and a pair of earplugs. No, we are talking about a full set of toiletries from the luxury brand Bulgari. From an investor's point of view, these are take-home assets. You can literally walk off the plane with them, and they have a real retail value that should, in theory, count toward that final profit tally. But here's a crucial point. Despite the obvious value of all that Bulgari gear, our investor basically treated it as a kind of bonus dividend. It wasn't part of the core strategy. His focus was almost entirely on the things he could consume, right then and there. Which brings us to the star of the show, the main asset in this entire portfolio, the champagne. And listen, we're not talking about just any old sparkling wine. We are talking about Dom Perignon 2015, a premium vintage bottle with a very serious price tag. And our investor did his homework. He valued each and every glass at $45. That number is so important because it made the champagne the most efficient asset to liquidate. Every single pour was a direct $45 blow to that profit target he was trying to beat. And this just perfectly shows how cold and calculated the strategy was. The second most valuable asset was caviar. The investor openly admitted he didn't even like it, said it was very fishy. But who cares? His personal taste was completely irrelevant. This was a business transaction, not a fine dining experience. So he identified his key assets. Now, how did he actually try to extract their value? Well, the strategy was, to put it mildly, aggressive. And it really pushed the unspoken rules of first-class service to the absolute limit. The game plan was basically a brute force attack. Focus only on the Dom Perignon and the caviar. Order them in amounts the crew had probably never seen before. And just keep that pace up from the minute he set foot in the lounge until the plane touched down in Milan. This wasn't savoring, it was a high-volume liquidation. This quote from one of the flight attendants just says it all. The investor's behavior was completely off the charts. First class is designed for sipping, for relaxing, not for slamming down 3 orders of caviar at once. His strategy immediately created this friction, this social tension between him and the crew. And here's where the whole strategy hits a brick wall. That promise of unlimited service? Turns out, there's an asterisk. The airlines stepped in, citing alcohol control, and they cut him off. And that is a huge risk in an investment like this. The house can just change the rules mid-game, capping in potential for profit. Every investment has risks. But here, the liabilities weren't on a balance sheet. They were physiological. They were social. The aggressive strategy came at a huge, unquantified cost to the investor himself. Just look at the difference between the promise and the reality. The airline sells you relaxation and luxury. He got a raging headache. They sell you gourmet dining. He ended up feeling physically sick. The investment strategy was actively destroying the very value of the asset he was trying to exploit. And that's not just my analysis. Those are the investor's own words. He basically admits that in chasing the dollar value, he completely obliterated the experiential value. It's a total depreciation of the asset's primary purpose. So, after all of that, the champagne, the caviar, the headache, did the investment actually pay off? Let's get to the bottom line. Let's look at the final numbers and deliver our verdict. The final count for champagne glasses consumed, 22. Just think about that. 22 glasses. It's a truly mind-boggling number that just shows the sheer physical effort required to even get close to making this strategy work. And here's the crazy part. On paper, the numbers are shockingly close. His target was just over $3,300. He managed to consume over $3,000 worth of stuff. Financially, he almost did it. He came incredibly close to breaking even, which is just wild. But that brings us to our final analysis. We have to call this investment a profitable failure. He almost succeeded financially, but in doing so, he had a miserable time, making himself sick and exhausted. The attempt to maximize the financial value completely annihilated the actual value of the experience. And that's what this whole experiment leaves us with. It's this bigger, more philosophical question. In our constant hustle to optimize everything, to find an angle, to turn every opportunity into a profit, at what point do we end up destroying the very thing we were chasing in the first place? What are those hidden costs that never, ever show up on the balance sheet?